I'm Hef.
I am Lindsay.
And this is Best Friends Nonsense.
Hi! Welcome back or welcome to
Best Friends Nonsense.
Yay!
Oh, I said that by myself. I didn't like that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was weird.
Best Friends Nonsense.
Oh, that didn't work any better.
I know, we're bad at this.
It's okay. It's just a bunch of nonsense. It's
yeah,
fine.
it's fine. It's on brand.
Yeah.
Look at us being on brand.
As always. It's always very on brand for us to be in sync
Except
the day of the podcast every single time.
Yeah, that's true. I did text her.
Our moods,
Yes.
or whatever, like our vibe is the same,
Yes.
every time.
Because we were going to do something else for today, and then I literally texted her and was like, I'm not all here enough to dive deep into this, so no.
And I was like, honestly, I can't see straight because I am at work and I can't even begin to think straight. So that sounds great. That's fine.
Yeah.
My headspace is never great. I'm just kidding. It's better than it used to be for sure. But yeah.
Better than last week.
What was last week?
I think both of us were very, on the struggle bus
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah, I'm just exhausted. Right now I'm just exhausted. I'm so tired. It's like a little bit of burnout, but mostly just like, oh my gosh, I need a nap. Like that's where I'm at today. And I don't want to do anything that requires a ton of brain power because I don't have a ton of brain power to give. So,
Yeah.
that's just where it is.
Yeah. I feel a lot better than last week. Last week I was talking about that struggle I've been feeling of going from baby momhood to toddler momhood.
Yeah.
And I was just really down and just not happy.
Yeah.
And something clicked. Maybe I got into a new phase of my monthly thing, because technically you were 4 different people throughout the month.
Yeah.
So maybe I was just extra whatever that week or 2 weeks, however long, because just something clicked and it's better now. I don't feel anything like that like I was, because I do think it was jealousy. I think I was jealous of my own husband. I think that's what it was. But hey, I guess he's a great person if I'm jealous of him,
I mean, and you did marry him for a reason.
Exactly. Like that video you showed me.
Yeah.
Were you going to tell that on the podcast or?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was outside vaping and I came across this reel on Facebook. I just want to give her a shout out.
Because it's not our content.
It's not my content. It's not my thought, but my thoughts are going to come after.
Yeah.
I liked it, and it also kind of called me out a little bit.
Yeah. And I think that really does say something about your partner, because you're always going to be affiliated with them.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So,
but,
what
this girl said, and this is Grace Lemery. I know I butchered that, I'm sure. But we will put her, it's an Instagram reel, but we'll put that right there. I took a screenshot so I can send you the screenshot, and then you can just type it in.
There you go.
Okay. But what she was saying was, so if you're seeing a guy right now and you're
or person.
Yeah, or guy, girl, whoever. If you were to have somebody come up to you and say, hey, Lindsay, you know what? You remind me so much of Joshua. You are so much like him. It makes so much sense.
And you know what that fills me with? It fills me with joy.
Yes.
That's what it should be.
That is what it should be.
Yeah.
And if it gives you anything else, if you have to immediately start defending yourself, excuse me, no, please explain. I am not like him or her or whoever. no, I'm going to need you to elaborate on that. Excuse me? If that is the need that you've, or like,
Sorry, I feel like that tripped
why
you
are
up.
words hard?
Yeah. If you feel defensively.
Yeah, if you would immediately feel defensive, you are with the wrong person.
Yeah.
That person is not for you. They
Yeah.
are for somebody else.
Definitely.
They
Someone else
might
is
be for
them
therapy.
to screw
Who
up.
knows? But, they are at least not for you.
Mm-hmm.
You should only ever be with somebody who makes you feel the way that she just felt.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
and that
we've
was
been
just an
compared.
example. I mean, but yeah, you do, though. Like, you
Yeah.
guys are very similar. But you guys have been together for a long time,
A
too.
very long time.
So, you guys rub off on each other
Mhm.
in that way. And you guys start to act the same in certain ways. So,
And I think that's the natural thing you're supposed to do. Because if you notice,
Exactly.
if you see couples that have been together for a while, they start, like, morphing to one person. Like, you can see them, like, they start looking like each other.
Yeah.
Like, my parents, they've gotten called siblings before. Like, people have mistaken them for siblings. I'm like, wow, that's what in the Kentucky is happening here. But
my parents get that, too.
yeah, I can see
think the
that.
same- yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think that, and even if you're not always going to be their partner, if you have a child with them, you're always going to have that person in your life. So, like,
Yeah.
you're always going to be compared to them. You're always going to be affiliated. So you need to choose a good person.
Yeah. I think I need to start choosing people based on, would it be embarrassing for this person to walk into my work after I've just hyped them up?
Ooh, yeah.
Because there is nothing more humbling than talking about a guy that you haven't even met in person yet. And this little short, stubby guy who looks like a big toe walks in to your job and sits at your bar, and you're wanting to know if he needs a kids menu, and it turns out he's the guy that you're meeting, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Did he not send a picture?
No, he did. He just, I don't,
Took a
he
very
just,
good picture.
yeah,
Okay.
he's very photogenic.
Okay. Well, because...
He doesn't really look like a thumb.
Right.
Or a big toe, whatever I said.
They're
I'm
kinda
just
the
a little
same.
mean. I'm just a little mean. It's the equivalent
Yeah.
of each other.
Well, because we were talking about this earlier. We were also eating dinner before we started
Yes.
recording. And she
like-
said, because we have a couple people that are in a couple instances where their exes didn't work out, and it's because they didn't pass the handshake test. So basically that test is if someone shakes your hand and it feels like a limp noodle, or my favorite is this one person, they went to shake my hand, and instead of doing like the normal, they did this. And it was a man. And I'm like, what?
Like, what
That
did I
just
do
felt
with
icky.
that?
What was that?
Like-
It felt weird. Yeah, it was weird. So, maybe because I have baby hands. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. But anyway, so if they don't pass that test, then maybe they're not such a good person, is what that basically means. So she said next.
For me now, I have 2 sets of tests.
Yes.
So, first, they have to pass the work test. You got to be able to come and visit me at work and sit through my coworkers being nosy because I spend more time with them than I do anybody
But
else.
they weren't even being nosy. That was the real
They literally
screwy
weren't.
part. They
Well,
said hi.
No. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I have a theory. I don't really know what the theory is, and so
It's a working theory.
one of my managers, one of the ones that talked to him, I didn't actually witness that interaction myself.
Got ya.
The only one that I witnessed was the manager who's younger than me, my favorite manager. The other manager that interacted with him was my one that is a very close second for the favorite manager. Like, I love them to pieces. Actually, I love all of my managers. They're all so great. But I also, was so busy today, and the only reason I survived was because my managers were running my food, bussing my tables, and greeting new tables that I couldn't get to. So, I'm like, they saved me today. It's okay. But I digress. So So anyway, I didn't get to witness that interaction. And the reason that I'm a little like, I don't know, is because he's a little vulgar sometimes. I wouldn't imagine that he would be that way with a stranger, though. I wouldn't imagine that he would go up to a guy that I am seeing, that I have been on one singular date with, and like ask him if we've hit the sheets or anything like that. I highly doubt that he would actually do that. However, I don't know for sure.
Oh, I guess you could ask him.
But it would be weird to ask him now. Like, there's been too much time, and I obviously can't ask that guy because he don't like me.
He blacked.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I will never know.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm not that disappointed anyway, though. That's why I'm like, it's fine that I don't have to. I'm not going to press about it. It's all right.
Right. But I mean, that's where it comes back to the previous conversation about if that just doesn't play to him, then it's going to be fine for somebody else. And like I said today with our friends, because I just found out that one of our friends recently broke up with their girlfriend, apparently we were too much. And that's what I'm like, if we were too much, then go find less. Because if you're dating that person, then you're dating the rest of us.
I'm just saying. I fit right in.
Yeah.
I put the offer out there.
You did?
That was his decision.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Man. Whatever.
I'm still cool.
So,
Actually,
yeah.
I'm way cooler now.
You're way cooler than before?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm way cooler now.
Oh. Okay. You just feel the same to me now that you weren't cool then. It's just...
Yeah, you see,
We've always been cool.
Tell you what, but you're my best friend. You're supposed to say that.
Right.
You're like, you've always been cool. I'm like, no, I haven't been, but thank you for saying that.
Are you insulting my taste in friends?
No.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I wasn't cool. I'm saying I'm cooler.
And Tanner.
I am Tanner. You can see the difference between my skin and my shirt now. I don't tan normally. This is very exciting for me. Like, I am pasty pale all the time. I have two colors, red and white. I am a lobster or nothing.
Yeah, because you just reshared that post from forever ago, and you said, the post said something like, my makeup says
oh yeah,
light,
my makeup says light, but I'm still
dark.
But it's still too dark for me.
Yeah, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
she was paper.
I was so pale.
Yes.
But now I can't even use my foundation because it's just a little bit too light for my skin to where it would just, I don't know, it would just kind of wash me out right now.
Well, that's how I always feel with foundation. I feel like it makes like I went through a stage where nobody, including you, told me that I looked like a vampire. Like, I was so pale on my face and everywhere else was not. I'm like, people let me walk out of the house like this.
I was walking out with an orange face.
See? Like, what?
We were having the opposite struggles. I couldn't see yours because I couldn't see mine.
She says, I
Like,
look fine.
We both looked awful. It was part of the thing,
It's
but we
true.
didn't think that we looked awful.
No, I didn't
We
think
thought we
so
looked
until I
great.
saw a picture and I'm like, oh.
I was like,
Whoa.
whoa, I am never buying foundation again in my life. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah. Except mine that you picked out now matches me fine.
Yeah.
I just never
good at
wear
that.
it because my kid doesn't care what I look like. So,
Well, and the thing about it is like, you don't really have, like, you don't have bad skin. You don't really have a need for it.
it's true.
I have significant, and my skin isn't even that bad anymore, which is why I don't wear foundation, which in turn is why my skin doesn't get bad. Because I'm terrible at washing it off. Not the foundation. The foundation isn't the
Same.
problem. I am the problem.
Same. I'm terrible at washing my makeup off.
Yeah, but I'm like that. You know, it's okay.
So dated recap, because I go all the way back to 4th of July. We had a cookout, and Boo Boo actually paid attention to the fireworks this year.
Yeah.
She was so excited. So we do it at home. We buy the fireworks in Indiana, and then we come back and we do that in our backyard. We've done this for years. And
Everybody does. It's fine.
exactly. So, we do them at home, and I was trying to teach her, like, oh, look, Dada's gonna go light it up. You gotta look for the little light, and she's like, 1, 2, 3, and then we're like, boom, so, like, I was trying to teach her to be excited about it instead of, like, because some kids, the anticipation of the big boom scares them, so I was trying to make it fun of the pre-boom,
Mm-hmm.
So she seemed to really like it. She even was going to go with my mother-in-law, but we decided not to have her go, but she loved them. She wanted more. She was like, this is awesome,
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
But that's a big thing too, though, is like your attitude leading up to it is everything.
Yes.
Like, they will reflect you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not even a parent, and I know this because I know this when it comes to boo-boos
Yes.
and falls and stuff. You hold your breath. You do not gasp. You do not make a face. Nothing. You just go, you all right?
Yep.
And they'll tell you if they're not.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not okay, you will know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, and then if they're truly okay, they'll just get up and be like, I'm all right.
Yep.
And let's keep
Oh,
going.
yeah. And I've had to learn that, too. Just, like, your reactions reflects how they react. So it's like, and that's what I've been trying to learn with all aspects. That's why I was trying to make it so exciting with the fireworks, And then we did singing. We and playing, not just singing, because they took all of their amps that they had and put it in my papa's garage, and they were just jamming music, and it was really fun. Yeah. We tried to have me sing with it, and it was just not happening. It was way too loud. I was getting overstimulated.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't do it. Too much noise. So I just couldn't do it.
I ain't built for no garage band.
Yeah. It was because my brother-in-law has this app where he can have the song going in the background as you're playing, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, and that helps people learn sometimes when you hear the actual, musicians do it. And
your brother-in-law does that?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I know very well?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. Wow. No.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
I didn't know that he played instruments.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I knew that and it was just somewhere in my brain.
Maybe. And his son plays the drums. So he was playing the drums.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But he mostly likes rap. So he knows most of those things, and he was getting a little overstimulated himself because he's like, I don't want to mess anybody up if I don't know how to play the drums of this song. We're like, we're not professionals, my dude. You can play however you want.
You're not going to mess me up or anything.
Yes.
You're okay.
Yeah. I think he had a phone call with his girlfriend or something, and then came back, and he was fine. But yeah. But I was very overstimulated. I couldn't sing along with the musician and also have all the music happening at the same time. I'm normally fine if it's just us playing. But then if you add the actual artist singing with me, it's just a lot. So, but it was a good day overall. I really liked 4th of July. What did you do?
Worked.
Oh,
I closed the bar.
That's right. Were you busy that day?
It came in waves.
Oh, okay.
So I made so many stinking drinks. We have a monthly special margarita, and I'm not, for the sake of the fact that it's a very popular restaurant. I absolutely love the name. I love everything about this margarita, from the taste to the name to the cute little way that it is. Gosh, I wish I had a picture of one that I have actually made.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pull it up just so I can show you. So
Yeah.
that I can, like... It's a red, white, and blue colored margarita. So, of course, with it being the 4th of July, we sold a ton of them.
Oh, I bet.
And it looks just like that when I make it. And it's so cool and I love it.
Cute.
It's really sweet, though. So I don't, like... But it was definitely... I had to keep continuously washing my margarita glasses because I have 8 margarita glasses. That's it.
Wow.
So I was making them, they were coming back, and I was having to wash them so that I could make more. Like, I never was completely out of a margarita glass,
Well,
but
good.
I was constantly doing dishes. I was hands in the sink, out talking to my tables. Are you okay? Are you okay? You need a Coke? Cool, I'm going to forget about that. Like, I'm going to forget something. Today, I forgot a guy's cherry Coke 3 times.
Oh, no.
3 times. Now that he told me 3 times, he told me technically twice, but the second time he told me, I had just remembered I had nothing else to do, and that was my top priority, was like, oh my goodness. So, like, the rule is, though, and this is pretty much the same restaurant to restaurant, is hot food goes out first.
Right.
If you go back there and there's hot food ready to run, you got to run that before you go and get somebody a refill, before you go and get this, before you get that, because the food quality is very important in a restaurant, obviously. So I did have to do that a lot, and he didn't seem too irritated. Like, he could see that I was swamped. Like, every single booth that I had, which is 7, where's that? I had seven tables. I had 2 high top tables, plus I had 4 individual people at my bar top. So if you count those as individual tables, because I was caring for them like individually, because none of them were together. So that was being very difficult. So that was, let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
A lot.
That was so much.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't even seem real. That's disgusting. That's horrible.
That's a lot.
But it's just like people just kept wanting to sit in the bar. And as the bartender, you have to just take, whoever wants to sit in the bar. You have to.
Yeah.
That's basically what my week has been. It's been that. But on Saturday, no, this was not Saturday. This was the 4th of July.
Oh.
I carried, not rolled, carried up my own beer keg and changed it out properly, the right way, got it reset, and kept going. And no other bartender does that. Not that none of us can't or don't know how to, but because we're usually making other drinks or doing other things at that time, one of the managers will go back and get it. Plus, usually the beer cage is locked, but certain managers will keep it unlocked during certain parts of the day when, like, there's barely any staff in here. Nobody would get away with anything if they tried to. But then again, also, we honestly have a really, really good staff right now. Like, we don't have... Like, I know that, you never know. It could be anybody, of course. But we truly don't have any shady people, any weirdness. Like, everybody's really cool. So, I mean, we usually keep the beer cage unlocked. Unless it's, like, a really busy day or something.
Right.
Or if, like, we know that certain people are coming in, big bosses, whatever. Wow, my brain stopped.
You brought your own keg up.
Yep, I brought my own keg up. I sure did.
Yep. And you got it, even though they don't really, and managers do.
Yep, managers are usually the ones who get it. But I called over the speaker or like my little walkie, and I was like, "Hey, I need a beer keg." I was like, "Hey, I need whatever I needed," and Nobody got it. Finished making the other drinks I was making. And I looked around. They were busy. They were helping other people. They were doing things. And so I was like, well, I need this beer. And I am waiting on it. Why don't I just go get it?
There you go.
So I went back there. I picked it up, brought it up, did it. And then later on, I went up to my manager and I was carrying the empty keg and I was like, hey, I never changed these by myself. So where do these go? I was like, I feel like I already should know this, but my brain is not working. And he was like, well, you don't put the new one there. He was like, let's go get that connected. And I was like, no, I'm not. It's already done. He was like, what? And then he he realized, I guess, also that I'm literally holding it with one hand. And I'm like, listen, I'm strong. I'm not that strong. Like, it's all right. But he was like, oh, I don't want anybody else on my bar. I was like, oh, no, don't
You
do
see
that.
what happens.
Don't do that to me, because the second that somebody wants like Bud Light, that is a very largely popular beer. So obviously we get that in a significantly bigger keg. The one that I brought up was skinny. It was like this big around. It was skinny.
Mm-hmm.
It, it's still heavy, but not nearly as heavy as that. That would be really bad. I can't do that by myself, but neither can he, honestly, so it's okay.
Yeah. I drank some on the 4th of July, too. My favorite ones that I drink all the time. I meant to drink one tonight, but totally forgot.
You could just go grab one if you want.
I could, but
Yeah, we're already like half hour in.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so and then I have a D&D recap.
Yes.
Okay. So on our last thingamabob, we just healed the Myconid's leader, and he's sitting up, he's good. And he gives me a what does he give me? He gives me a ruby moral, I think is what it is. I can't seem to find it in a hurry. And so we're like, cool, glad you're great. We're gonna go back to the place. So and then that's what I'm saying right here. I hope that all the creatures are going to be okay. So now we're in our rowboat, and we can see the shore of Dragon's Rest, right? And as we're almost there, all of a sudden we hear bubbling coming from the right side. Zombies. We hurriedly start attacking, and even Blep, our little helper, he even helps by jabbing with his dagger, his magic dagger. We like to make fun of him with that dagger. Anyway. I
have a dagger. It's on my arm. It's right here.
It's true. We make it ashore, and I and Zenora head to the library. So Nora and I have decided that we're friends because as a tabaxi, she says she's very loyal. And we've almost died together. I feel like that bonds people, you know? So Nesta goes to the temple to pray. Brocker decided to go get food. He literally passes out on the table. And he's collecting potatoes for some weird reason. He's like, where's the potatoes? I need to stuff them in my pockets.
He's like me.
And being the holder of the hard-capped mushrooms, Echo converses with the man who sent us on the mission, Tarek. And also, if you're wondering where the elf is, that is unnamed, she is in Echo's pocket because she couldn't come play. Or I guess it's a guy playing a girl character, so he couldn't come. So he's like, just stuff me in Echo's pocket. And we're like, cool, sounds great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we all get 5 gold coin as promised. I am just skimming. It's going to rain here. I am just skimming books and read up on the kobolds. I learned that they are weak physically, so they depend on numbers to defend themselves. But they are by nature peaceful. Zenora and I read about the squid monster that we encountered, if you remember that from a couple stories back. Brocker and Echo find a hoarder woman who dabbles in potions and weapons. They buy some weapons. Deciding to leave the library, we run into a human female, Varnos, who gives us a mission if we wish to take it. She tells us about a couple of kobolds, Mech and Min, that have been missing for a bit. Last known whereabouts were at an abandoned wrecked ship, can't talk, called the Compass Rose. That's not too far from here. It's been abandoned for about 40 years. I tell her that my companions are very money driven, so we need some payment. And accepting this, she offers each of us 25 gold coins. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, they will love that. I accept and tell my companions about the mission. We are in our boat and we head to the shipwreck. When we get there, we see dragon bones sticking out of the water and a huge ship that is very I can't say that word, dilapidated. We decide to climb the side of it using ropes and rigging from a missing sail. We look around and not seeing much, we head down the steps. This time we see a couple of doors leading into rooms. Echo he looks into one of the rooms marked captain quarters. He sees two bodies standing in the corner, not moving, along with the normal furniture. And we were like, what? they're just standing there? Yeah. And so he just closes the door behind him. Nesta looks in the room behind her, and looking around, she notices a loose floorboard. She also sees a painting of a loving a couple in an embrace. The inscription says, or inscription, not encryption, Aletha and Brastos, together forever. As she pries the floorboard up, a dart flies out and hits her. She is now poisoned and is down 4 health points. And we're like, oh no! So gosh. Limping out of the room, Zenora heals her, but not able to cure her poison. So she's still poisoned, but her health points are back up. So Brocker goes in the room behind her, looking in the same floorboard. He finds something, but he not very convincingly lies about what he found. So we never found out what he finds. Nesta looks very angry at him. Echo deciding he wants to see if the 2 bodies in the captain quarters are dead, he goes in, this time slamming the door open. They animate and are about to attack. Brocker rushes in to help Echo, and I stand back, but I can see the enemy, so I'm like, I'm not going in there. Attacking with my longbow in their melee attacks, the zombies soon fall. I push through and loot the male zombie and find 50 gold. I'm like, hot dog. Zenora finds a dagger on the female. We wonder if the 2 zombies are what?
A dagger on the female.
That's so weird. Ooh, that's weird. We wonder if the 2 zombies are the couple from the painting.
Me in another life.
Right. We hear banging.
Where I found a man and died.
It's just the future.
Yep.
Oh, it's a square on my head. I'm like, what the heck is on my hair? Okay. Ooh, sorry. We can see ourselves behind you guys. Anyway, so we hear banging coming from the room next door. We're like, great. We just hear boom, boom, boom. And Brocker stomps over and looks through the window and sees a zombie. Of course. Nesta shoots it through the window, breaking the glass. Brocker reaches through, grabs the zombie, but rolling low, he can't seem to figure out how to open the door. So, because we had him roll a dexterity to see if he could pull the zombie through the window, but he rolled, like, really low. So, the DM was like, all of a sudden, you don't know how the door works. We all die laughing. That was so funny.
Oh, we're like, my gosh,
what if it's
so
a
funny.
pull door and you're pushing?
Yeah.
It was so funny. So thinking he'll fix the problem, Echo comes running and pushes the door, causing Brocker and the zombie to hit some barrels behind the door. Curious about the loud noises, Zenora goes to investigate and sees the door open with Brocker and the zombie and closes it. Still stuck on the floor, on the door, sorry. Brocker takes his axe and hits a zombie, freeing himself in the process. Echo, now closed in the room, hits a zombie. Looking through the window, because I'm not going in there, I aim at the zombie and hit him. After a couple of rounds, the zombie falls. It died by Zenora casting an insulting cantrip, so it literally dies by insult. Echo finds 30.
I love that.
Right?
I love
So
that.
funny.
Actually,
She did that a couple times, and I was like, it literally died by you calling it ugly.
I'm like, you're ugly and you have no friends.
And it died. You see why this game is fun? So anyway, Echo finds 30 gold on the body.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And Nesta searches the captain's quarters because no one looked in there for some weird reason when we were in there, and finds 50 gold. And she sees something interesting on the top of the captain's desk. End of chapter 5. Yeah. But it's such a fun game. It's so fun, especially when it's like that.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times where it's not so fun, and I'm just like trying to get through the mission, but other times it's like that, and it's so funny and so fun, and we all get to enjoy ourselves. And yeah, maybe if you ever feel like it, you can just come too. You'll have to make somebody though. Speaking of that, I am now.
Oh,
Yes.
I was like, Lindsay, I'm not making a baby right now.
No,
I
not
have
that.
good taste in
Not
men.
that someone. I mean, I mean a character. Yeah.
It makes more sense.
Yeah,
Because
because I'm making a new character. It's totally different than my elf that I have. She, like my elf, Ina, is very, that's my name. She's very reserved, and she's very laid, like, I am not going in guns blazing. I am the healer, like, whatever. But my new character is totally opposite. Her name is Brenna Iron Fist. And I like to say her name like Brenna. She's Brenna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she is a dwarf. So she's only 4.5 feet tall. And she is guns blazing, in your face. She's a fighter. She came from the mountains. She's a soldier from the mountains.
Mountains of Russia.
Yes. But I mean, like, not rolling hills of green, but literally like the cold mountain. And she's like, I think she's a mason. She does masonry, I think. So I'm still creating her character, but she's like tough and in your face. And I think that's going to be a really cool contrast between the two.
So do you
I'm
get
the
to
person
play
bringing
with
them
both
alive.
characters?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So how
Yeah.
does that work?
I'm just making her in case Ina dies.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, I just wanted to see what it would be like to create a in-your-face character. Because you're kind of like the actress. You're bringing Ina and Brenna alive, like
Yeah.
I get to be that different kind of person. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ina's a lot like me, though. Because I was so new to D&D, I'm like, I'm just going to make a character that's a lot like me. That's why it's simple.
That's what I feel like I would do. So I would probably end up making something similar to your current character.
Go for it, man. I can't pronounce her last name. Ina, I think it's like a Halamian or something. I can't pronounce it. It's a very elvish name. I just picked it from the book.
Oh, okay. That
Yes.
makes more sense.
Yeah.
Did they not have one you could pronounce?
I don't know.
Oh.
I just liked what it means too, but I don't remember what it means.
Okay, there was more. Okay, there's more. To
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
I put a lot
I
of
was
thought
like-
into Ina.
I was like, it's a name. Just
No, like
make
Ina
sure you can
means
say
like
it.
bright light or something, and I forget what Halamian means. Anyway, so that's the new D&D update and all that fun jazz. And I didn't get hurt at all on our last update.
I know. I
was like,
noticed that. I was
what?
like, nice.
I didn't get hurt.
Yes.
Yes. And so why I'm so tired the past couple days is because Saturday and Sunday combined hours. We worked 10 hours on that front porch patio thing outside in the heat. And the heat will just make you tired anyways.
Yeah.
But it's so tedious because right now they're just rocks on dirt. So you have to, like, is this one teetering? Okay, is it too high? Is it too low? Does it match this? Does it, okay, let's put a little bit more dirt. Oh, no, it's just too high. And you just got to keep doing that over and over and over and over. And it's very tedious and very tiring.
Yeah.
10 hours, Saturday and Sunday. It's stupid. And I just can't wait till it's done, honestly. I just cannot wait. I can't wait to decorate it. I'm so excited to decorate it.
Yeah.
I have such a vision, and I can't wait. I mean, I already bought that table, and people are using it, and it brings me such joy that people are using that table.
Yes.
It makes me so happy. And then I already did that. Oh, yeah. Saturday night, I don't know what was going on. I had my third in my entire life anxiety attack. Like, I think I've only had 3, and the first 2 were for stupid reasons. I was freshly postpartum, so I guess that's not stupid. It's how I was feeling. I had postpartum anxiety is what my postpartum expression, what it came out as. Yeah. And then also I had another anxiety attack because I thought my dog didn't like me anymore when I was like 16, I think. I thought my dog hated me. So I had an anxiety attack about that. And then this recent one was because we just worked how many hours out here.
Yeah.
And then she was covered in dirt. Boo Boo was covered in dirt. And I was sweaty and gross. And we had church the next morning. So I'm like, and we had to sing Sunday morning. So I'm like, there's just so much to do and not enough time to do it. It's 9:30 at night. I need to get her in bath. I need to bathe myself, but we also need to practice music. Way too much was happening. She was tired. So obviously when you don't give the child attention, they start being sad and whatever. So she was screaming. I was trying to practice a song, but getting overwhelmed, and I started like, I can't breathe. Like I was breathing heavy and like in and out, like I can't breathe, and just bursting into tears. It was awful. It was not good, but that came out of nowhere. It was crazy. I'm like, what?
You just heat exhaustion, and
Probably,
on top of normal exhaustion,
Yeah.
on top of being a mom,
Yeah.
on top of being a human in 2024.
Right.
Like,
That's true. Like I was telling my mom, I think that's how it is. Like what you just said, 2024. Like I feel like our generation, when we are parents, we're the healing parents. We're trying to heal our own selves with also raising tiny humans. So it's a lot of like just healing moments. Instead of me flipping out on my kid like past generations could have, I, in words, did whatever.
you just crumbled.
Yeah, I was like, no, you don't deserve that.
Yeah, you were like, that's not on you. I'm gonna take this one.
Yeah, it's me. I'm the problem. Hi, it's me.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Yep.
And
Always.
then this morning, I was reading a book to Boo Boo. And it's a funny. So I was reading the book to her. Well, she was originally reading it. She was like not reading, but reading, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that what the book was? Because then she goes, the end. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, and then she gives it to me. I was like, you want me to read it? So I start reading it. And then she's like, mine. And I'm like, okay, like here. And then she's still tilting it towards me. So I was like, you want me to still read it? And so I'm reading it. And she goes, shh. What? I'm
doing?
sorry. I thought you wanted me to read. So she's so smart. I'm telling you, this kid is so stinking smart. But yeah, that's all my updates. If you want to go ahead and finish, what you were saying.
I only thought of one more thing, which I thought was also a really good thing that I have this on me. I think from now on I'm going to keep this. So that when my brain does the ADHD thing that it does and goes, oh, hey, remember that thing?
You totally
randomly.
can interrupt me too, though.
Well, I don't want to interrupt,
Oh.
like, when you're doing, like, the D&D update or something like that to just
Yeah.
say something completely
Yeah, I
off
noticed
topic
you
and
were like,
random.
and you wrote something down. What
Because it was completely off topic and
Oh.
random. I randomly waited on my cousin at work the other day. My distant cousin. But,
nice.
yes. She was, like, my dad's cousin's daughter.
Oh, okay.
And my dad's family, like, never gets together, so I wasn't even for sure it was her at first. But then I just straight up asked her. I was like, hey, I was like, is your name?
Last name?
Yeah. And she was just like, yes. And I was like, I'm Heather. We're cousins. And she was like, oh my gosh, I knew there was something about your face. I had seen your face before.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, our faces are related.
Yeah. I have my dad's face.
No, I apparently look more like my mom.
Really?
And I love my dad, but I'm so excited that I'm the one that looks like my mom.
Yeah.
I'm the only one.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's so
That used to
exciting.
happen to me when I was working at, I guess I could say where I used to work, Olive Garden.
Yeah.
Um,
I used to work at Olive Garden too, but we
Yeah.
didn't work at the same
No.
one at
No.
the same time.
Nope. I'd totally do two different Olive
Yeah.
Gardens. But when I used to work at Olive Garden, my family would come in randomly, and like I hadn't seen with how my family broke apart. You know, when someone passes away, sometimes family breaks apart. That happened with my family on one side, and I didn't see these people for a long time, and they just randomly come in for their anniversary, and they're like, Lindsey? And I was like, oh, hey! And it's so nice to see family that
And
you
it's
never see.
also nice when like the vibe is matched.
Right.
Like she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said something because I didn't want to be weird and I was
Yeah.
hoping that you would do it because like, you know, you're
right,
waiting
I'm the
on
same
me.
way, though.
Like,
I don't outwardly be like, where do I know your face from?
I see, like I won't do that, but if I have a name in my head, I'm like, is your name?
Oh, I did
like,
that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then that's fine. But if I don't have a name in my head, you do not exist.
Right. Well, I met my great uncle and aunt also working at Olive Garden. They came in, and I noticed their last name is my mother's maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, do you know my mom's name? And they were like, yes. And I was like, I'm her daughter. And they were like, oh my gosh, wow. So ever since then, he friended me on Facebook, and he told me all, like a bunch of stuff about my grandpa's family.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know. And I'm like, see what happens? Like, that's so great.
Yeah.
Just random stuff like that happens at restaurants.
I actually, there's a lady that comes in from time to time, and she used to go to church with my mamaw.
Mm.
And I have waited on her twice. I have never seen her in there before when she was not at my table. And now, mind you, she's a twin, so it's entirely possible that I have seen both twins come in recently because I even remember, because like back then they were adults too. Like she's much older than me. She's around the same age that my grandma was. A little younger, but not quite, not quite up there. She gets around just fine. She's in great health. But even back then, like they looked identical. So it is absolutely possible. Because one came in with a man, and then the next time she came in by herself.
Mm.
Could have been both. Don't know. Because the second time she also didn't remember me from the first time, I don't think.
Oh. So
we
it
didn't really
could've
talk
been-
about the time before either, though.
Yeah. Could
So
have
I don't
been
know.
her.
But it could have been the twin.
Yeah.
But either way, they both went to church with her. And I just remember, like, especially the first time, it had only been a few months. Like, this was back in the winter.
Mm.
I hadn't been working there very long. And it was actually one of my first times being the lounger for the bartender. Like, and she, like, I had just been like, I don't know. It seemed like everybody else was getting their sign, or everybody else was like just felt like they were at peace with the loss of her, and I just really still felt like I wasn't there yet. And it was like her kind of putting her hand on my shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and like that was exactly what I needed in that moment. Except for the fact that I sobbed. Sobbed at work. And they were like, "Oh my
though. If
gosh,
someone
like
ever
what is
lost
wrong
their
with you? Like
grandma-
why are you crying?" And then I
Yeah.
was like, and I explained it, and they were like, "Oh, you poor baby. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Oh.
If anyone has ever lost their grandma, like you
Yeah,
know,
you
it's
know
hard.
It's very difficult. And
Yes.
so,
I still think about mine every day, and the little things remind me of her every day.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything else?
No, that's really all I had.
No? Okay. What were we doing today again? Oh, Reddit stories.
Yeah.
So, we're going to do some Reddit stories for y'all. I have 2 AITAs and one spooky story. And if we have time, I was going to read y'all my scary story that I sent in to one of my podcasts I listened to. So, fun. So this first one, do you want to read first?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. AITA for telling my husband's girl best friend she can't host my baby shower.
I read this. I was like, ooh.
This could be interesting. I, 22 female, and my husband, 23 male, got married young. I was 18, he was 19. Both of us knew we always wanted to get married and start a family young. I started college 2 years ago, and he just graduated with a Bachelor of Biomedical Science. My husband has a girl best friend, 23 female, who I'll call Sam, who he met in college. Both of them grew up Baptist, and while he's left the church, they had a very similar childhood and bonded quite quickly. Despite what you may be thinking, her and I got along really well. She and I liked the same music, and we were both studying in relatively the same fields, so she became a friend of mine as well. Since I found out I was pregnant, though, some issues have started to arise. We announced our pregnancy on social media after we told our parents. Sam texted my husband a congrats and then told him to pass on her well wishes to me. She's been texting him nonstop with baby advice and what she likes to call advice for mama, which includes sometimes relatively targeted jabs at what I should eat. Honestly, I kept brushing the text off, but it got to a point where the conversations were less about the baby and more about me, which I was getting increasingly uncomfortable with. Because she wasn't texting me, she was texting my husband. My husband acknowledged this and has started to show them to me and ask what I want him to do. I just told him to ignore them. When I announced I was having a baby shower and sent out the invites, I received a text from Sam. She said something along the lines of wanting to host my baby shower and set it up. I told her politely that my mom was planning on hosting it with the help of my sister and that it was a special moment for them and I wouldn't want to take that away. Obviously. Like that's like the thing. Like your
Exactly.
family or a close friend of the mama would throw the baby shower.
Exactly. Like not my husband's best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand it's his baby, but this is typically a female thing.
Yeah.
So unless you're my friend, I don't want you to know.
Yeah. No thanks. It says, well, Sam ignored that message because the next day she came over and insisted we start working out arrangements for the venue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse you,
What?
no. I told her once again my mom and sister were hosting it, and she told me that she should take her advice and let her plan it because she'd ensure that the baby shower would be better if she planned it, particularly because she'd be working on the menu. Whether it was pregnancy hormones or just bottled up rage, I told her that the jabs she's been making at me behind my back about my diet during this pregnancy to my husband are really annoying, and that no, she cannot host this shower, and from now on, her unsolicited advice was not appreciated, especially if she can't say it to my face. That night, my husband's phone blew up with messages from Sam saying that he had no right to show her those messages and that they were just supposed to be health tips because Sam was studying nutritional science and only wanted to help her best friend and ensure a happy baby in life. Honestly, I don't know. I know she had somewhat good intentions and she's been a good friend to my husband and to me, so AITA. No. No, you're not. That is
No.
absolutely uncalled for. The fact that you guys were hanging out and like if you guys would have your own texting like your own conversations separately before, but now that you're pregnant, she chooses to only say it through him.
That's where it gets weird for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. And like even if it's a thing where like I could see both sides only in the way of like her being like, well, I don't want to send this to her. I don't want to tell her that because I
Right.
don't want her to feel insulted by it. But also, don't say that to her husband.
Exactly.
What?
Like that kind of gives me like
It's just
I want
if
to
it's not
make
your baby, it's not your business.
Yes, exactly. Like what you're saying probably like what I think you were going to say was like I could see the other side of it like maybe she is trying just to help, but that's when you text the mom.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't be whatever or maybe you should eat more of this. It'll help with this." For me though, I've been the pregnant person in this scenario, and the amount of times that I've gotten an unsolicited advice from somebody, it is infuriating when you're the pregnant person. And it could be the hormones, like she's saying. It definitely could be.
Well, the thing about it too, though, and like I've never been the pregnant person, but I've been around pregnant people a lot. And sometimes pregnant women can't keep nothing down but a McChicken from McDonald's.
Right.
Or like whatever. Like I
If the baby wants it.
it like if that is the only thing that is going to not come back up, put it down your throat.
Right, exactly. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Eat it.
Yes. Food. Eat food. Anyway.
But yeah, like I've gotten, especially with me being a diabetic, I got all of those advice about, well, maybe you shouldn't be eating that. Won't it hurt the baby if you eat too much of this? Or it's like, I'm sorry, who's the one holding the baby? Who's the one growing it? And I see her all the time. I know she's fine. If the doctor says she's fine and my numbers are okay, then leave me alone.
Yeah.
And trust me, with this Sam girl, she will, like, the pregnant lady, what's her name? I forget who posted about it. She never said her name, did she?
No.
She will always remember what Sam did during her pregnancy, because I still hold feelings against people, and I don't do that, against people that did things when I was pregnant. You will remember how people treated you when you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Because that is supposed to be a joyful time in your life, and if someone takes it away, you're like, you're the problem.
Yep.
I don't like you. Yeah, for sure. So, not the a-hole.
No.
No. So, this one is AITA for telling my friend she has to stop punishing me for what her boyfriend did. Okay, so my friend Allie and I have been friends since we were 11, so for 15 years. She's my oldest friend. We're different, but that has always worked for us. And though she didn't finish her sentence. When Allie started dating her ex, Jake, I was really happy for her. Jake was fun, interesting, and he pulled Allie out of her shell, which was nice to see. The three of us would do a lot together since Jake and I had similar interests. For a while, we were a good trio. I freely admit I was a bit blind to the signs that Jake was infatuated with me. I thought he was just a nice guy who was trying to make his girlfriend's chronically single friend feel included. A lot of people clocked it, and I thought they were just overreacting and being disrespectful to Allie. It was only when my roommate mentioned it that I started to think seriously about it. Unfortunately, it was too late to do anything because Jake made a move on me less than a week after that conversation. It was actually fairly public, so it wasn't even me that had to be the one to tell Allie. Allie and I did talk about it, and I thought we were sticking together. She even came and stayed with me for 3 weeks after the breakup. I did everything I could to support her, but after 4 months, it never seemed to be enough. She is constantly making comments about me, what I wear, how I act, everything I do. It just seems to annoy her. She keeps pointing everything out I do, saying that is what makes what gives guys the wrong idea. She doesn't seem to like going places with me anymore either. If we go out together, she leaves early if I get male attention, which I don't invite. I've taken her out for spa days, dinners, done everything I can to make her feel special, but I'm sick of feeling like Hester Preen. Do you know who that is? Okay. No. This came to a head on Sunday, when I went to Allie's housewarming party. She greeted me, but I could see something was off, so I just left her to it and talked to other people. While I was talking to one of her colleagues, Allie pulled me aside and asked me to change my outfit because it was drawing attention. Spoiler, it was not. I refused to change into clothes she wanted to lend me, so she said I had to leave, and that after what happened with Jake, she thought I would try to be more conscious of how I am. I kind of lost it and told her she needs to stop punishing me for what Jake did, because I didn't do anything. I remind her that she didn't see anything wrong either, so it's not like I was the only naive one, that she was the person who brought him into my life, not the other way around. I said I was sick of her acting like she was a victim of something I did and that she was just being a brat, and then I left. My roommate feels like I'm absolutely in the right and has been sick of how she treats me since she stayed with us. But I feel bad. The whole situation was screwed up, and maybe I'm not giving Allie enough grace for feeling weird around me now. But at the same time, she could just take some space rather than being rude to me. I don't know. AITA.
No.
Absolutely
not.
Either.
Absolutely not. Because, like, at the end of the day, if you did not make a move on that man, if you did not verbally tell him that it was okay for him to make that move, then you did not consent.
Exactly.
If you did not want that, that is on him. He did that, not you. And then on top of that, you housed your friend for 3 weeks and tried to help her. Like, you did everything that you could, and more than you needed to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessary to coddle somebody their entire life. You gotta get over it. Learn to be funny if you're not cute. I'm sorry. I had to say it, but it's because I'm the funny one. So it's okay. It's okay. I like being the funny one. I'm not saying that I'm ugly. Yeah. I just might need a little help sometimes, so I have a lot of personality to combat it. Like, I might not be a 10. Not saying that I'm a 1. Just not a 10. But I'm funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think she did more than enough, and it's very unfair of Allie. I think it's very unfair of Allie to make her the bad guy when it was actually Jake that did something wrong. And I understand feeling like what you said, maybe she feels like the ugly friend.
Yeah.
But I think that's like, unfair to the OP. Yeah. Because she didn't do anything. Like you said. She did nothing. She never gave him signs. And maybe she's just a really pretty person. OP must be just really pretty.
No, because I have seen something before where somebody was talking about, like, a male colleague had said that some girl's LinkedIn picture was like, that's why, like, why does she have to be hot in this picture? Like, who gets dolled up, like, who gets all done up like that for a picture on LinkedIn? And it's just her in a polo t-shirt. She's just pretty. She's just pretty.
And who hurt you, sir?
Right, like, or who did you hurt?
Right, who did you hurt?
And you're trying to sit here and justify it. Like,
yeah. Like, that's just weird. And I don't get it. I think Allie needs to search
I think
herself
Allie
some.
needs to
She
be a
needs to
girl's
heal.
girl.
Yeah.
She
Like,
needs to learn
maybe
how to be a
don't-
girl's girl.
Yes, exactly. You're blaming your friend.
You're blaming your friend for your ex-boyfriend assaulting her, basically.
Exactly. Because if she didn't want that, that is assault. So if you want to read the next spooky one.
Do you want to read the spooky one, or do you want me to read the spooky
I
You
have my
seemed
personal
excited.
one. Oh, no, go for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my chat is exploding. My friends are talking to me.
You're fine. Okay. So it's the spooky story.
Spooky. Settle in.
Working.
Turn off the lights.
Yeah. Except not our lights.
No,
We
you
need
can't do
them.
that. You won't see us.
Yes. Okay. Working at a haunted restaurant. So this happened about 6 years ago. I was 20 years old and working my first job at a restaurant. I was a dishwasher / busboy, and it was a Saturday night and the restaurant closed up. On the weekends, me and another coworker would stay after and clean up the restrooms, kitchen, dining area, etc. My coworker was in the kitchen cleaning up dishes instead of helping him, I decided to get a head start and start cleaning up the dining area. I put up all the chairs and began to sweep. While sweeping, I was just listening to my music and sweeping, moving the tables and sweeping the rugs like I always did. However, I started to feel uneasy as if someone was watching me. I started to ignore the feeling and keep working, but I just felt so uneasy. There were 2 tables across from each other at the end of the hall. One was next to the window facing the boulevard. The other was near the restrooms, which was table 28. Once I got into a clear view of table 28 is when things started to get a lot more creepy. They did not punctuate this very well.
No, they did not. No.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I could grade this paper. I would. You'd get an F. I was your English teacher. Okay. Out of the corner of my eye, I would see a figure like a man peeking at me whenever I would turn and look at that table. It seemed like the figure would quickly hide back into the booth. At this point, I was just scared out of my mind, so I began to sweat and just overall felt a feeling I can't even describe. But I decided to thug it out and continue to clean up.
I love how they said that.
All right, thug it
Thug
out.
it out.
All right, man, I see you. I guess the spirit, or whatever you want to call it, didn't like that I chose to ignore it despite being scared. It decided to really let me know. So each table has a service button that customers can push to get the attention of the waitress. As I get closer to the table, I heard the familiar sound of the service bell. I immediately ran to the cashier table as you can see, which was request.
What?
What is happening? It was like twitching.
Oh.
It was like twitching when the messages were coming up, but it was like random and it didn't do that. I don't know.
Weird.
It could also just be my eyeballs. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Okay. I'm just going to go from this point. Okay. So as I was getting closer to the table, I heard the familiar sound of the service bell. I immediately ran to the cashier table. As you can see which table was requesting service on a small screen above where the host/hostess would stand, and sure enough, it was blinking for table 28. I decided to let my coworker know about what was going on. He was in the back still cleaning up the kitchen with both headphones on. He saw me go to the back and asked if I finished. I told him what had happened, and he didn't believe me at first. He even laughed at me. Then I told him to get quiet, and he did, and we both heard the service bell going off again. We both went to see which table it was from, and again the same table. This time his face changed from laughing to fear as he saw that I was telling the truth. My coworker decided that we should just leave and just tell the owner and manager what had happened. I agreed, and we decided to just leave. The owner laughed and said it was fine. We ended up finishing cleaning up the next morning before we opened. Before this experience, the owner would always joke, asking if we had a visit by the ghost yet. I didn't believe him, thinking he was just messing with us. But turns out before the restaurant on that property was a retirement home where several elderly people passed away, so I guess the spirits of the elderly people would often pay a visit. After that, things went back to normal, but by far the scariest thing I have ever experienced. Still get the chills when I share the story.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, spooky, and it's a restaurant story right up our alley. But yeah.
We always joke about there being a ghost, but we don't actually have anything like that happen.
Yeah. Whoops. I'm gonna have to find where I sent that.
Also, is it bad that even though I am somebody who loves paranormal things and I always want things to be true, I kind of just think that maybe
Something was glitching?
Might have just been a technical thing, because those machines are kind of stupid sometimes and they just go off.
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes you just have some issues with them.
Yeah.
Could be a ghost, though. Never know.
Yeah, you never know. So, this is my story that I sent in to Ladies in Tangents. They are my favorite podcast, short of our own. Yeah. So I named it Scary Story, the super creepy hospital that I worked in. So I'm going to just skip blah, 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 blah. Okay, it all begins in Ohio. Why is it so many creepy things happen in Ohio? Anyways, where I'm from, the hospital I work at is very well known. It is technically the building across the street, and I worked there. I was going to say what kind of building it was, but I think it's going to just give it away what it is. I worked there for about 5 years as a custodian. I worked the night shift, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m. She knows all this. That's why she's like, do.
I'm like, dude, I probably heard the story before, honestly.
Yeah. To make it worse, the building closed at 5 p.m., so all the patients, nurses, and doctors would be gone, and it would be incredibly quiet. This place had 5 floors, but when I first started there was only 3. The first floor, 4th floor, and 5th floor. I worked on the 5th. So on this floor, they would do the infusions for patients, and it would be something that sometimes look really creepy at night because the layout is a bunch of tiny cubbies with one chair in the middle and a TV that are separated by glass, so you would see shadows or reflections. I hated one side of the 5th floor that I would have to clean early because after the sun went down, there was a whole wall of windows, and I would see things sometimes if I looked too quickly, and it would freak me out. Oh, gosh. Oh, up there. It was so creepy. Sorry. So I would get a really bad feeling like someone was watching me down one of the hallways, when I would clean one of the restrooms in said hallway, I would keep my head down and not look around. Like, it was so creepy. There was a door at the end, and when you went through it into the lobby and lobby bathrooms, those bathrooms had automatic toilets. I promise this is important. I would be cleaning, making my way down the cubbies, wiping the furniture, and I would hear the door open. Knowing that I was the only one on the floor, I obviously was shaken. I hear it shut. I go over to the door to look, try to open it, and it is locked. You have to scan your badge to open it. Trying to not freak out, I frantically finish cleaning and nope out of there. To make the automatic toilets relevant, they would flush by themselves all the time for no reason. I don't know if it's a ghost just haunting the women's restroom, strange afterlife, but okay. The fourth floor also had some stories about it. The floor was for doctor's offices. There were so many hallways upon hallways, and at the end of them were weird paintings. The lights would just randomly turn off in hallways too. You'd be mopping the floor, and then all of a sudden the light would go out above you. It was so easy to get lost, and again, just an eerie feeling down your spine. The first floor had nothing creepy as far as I know. I didn't fill in much down there. The longer I worked there, the more I would sort of get used to it. Other than the hallway on the 5th floor, I swear something was down there looking at me all the time. I would just blast my music and not try to think about it or look down the hallway. It would make sense if there was ghosts there because
there's a hospital.
Right. Though uncommon, there were deaths in that building. I quit that job about 2 years now, and those things still freak me out a little. Yeah. So that, and then the rest is me saying goodbye on the email. But yeah, that hallway, I still see that from, if I think about it, I still feel like those feelings of someone just staring at you, and you look and no one's there.
Yeah.
You're like, what is that feeling of someone watching me?
Yeah.
I hated that one side with all the windows too. I would see things all the time and hear things, and the door opening by itself.
I also, when I worked at, I used to work at a nursing home, and I would take the residents to doctor's appointments. And I had a couple different residents that actually had to come to that hospital. And I have also experienced the women's restrooms, toilets flushing by themselves.
Uh-huh. Like I said,
sure.
Weird afterlife, but
I
all
have
right.
been in there, and it's like a bunch of stalls or whatever, and I'm like, there's literally nobody else in here, and then all of a sudden you just hear, and I'm like,
and they've fixed the automatic thing. They've fixed that multiple times, and it just keeps doing it. It's not like there's any faulty switch there or anything. It's just flushes by itself all the time. Oy. And trying to think of, because we mentioned our one ex-friend, we would stay at her house, and we would feel something in the corner ominously staring at us.
My old house.
Yeah, your
that I grew
house.
up
We
in,
talked about that.
I live right down the road from. But my house is not creepy.
That's good. That's good.
I always feel pretty cool.
Ooh, well, okay, well.
I feel like this has been a podcast.
It has been a podcast.
Been a very
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thanks.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment.
And come back next week for more nonsense and tell your friends.
Yes, don't forget to tell your friends.
Because, we are best friends. So, tell your best friends.
Right.
Tell all your friends.
Watch together.
Tell your enemies.
Yeah.
Tell everybody. Why not?
Right. Okay. Bye.
Right, bye.